We'll take this a little bit out of order. I wanted to talk about the Upland Oneida, the road, ARPA money and the discussion John. F and I had yesterday afternoon about the commitment of the money. And questions about, how to go about that. I'll let John bring us all up to speed here.
Yeah, and I just sent Courtney just email the print, and I just forwarded to Nadler too, what I believe will work for obligating the funds to Ananda, because after discussions we had, I don't know, several weeks ago now about obligating the remainder of the ARPA funds before the end of the year. The terminology and everything in the treasury documents are pretty vague on what an obligation is. They tried to clear it up. They sent out a ruling in 2021. They tried to clear it up in 2023 with a final ruling, which added a few extra things, but didn't really clear up the original language on what an obligation was when they refer to contracts and all that. And so we were initially operating under the assumption that perhaps what we have right now, which is a capital project with funds in there going on to being considered obligation. The resolution that's going in on Monday for the retention stuff, but I continue to dig because I just wasn't comfortable with not having the definitive answer. And of course, the Treasury gives no response, can't get through to them. I sent another email to them this week and got the same response the first time, which is just their generic email that says, look at these documents. It's like, that's what I'm looking at, but I have these specific questions. And so I did ultimately find a webinar after watching many that gave a slide of specifically what an obligation is not, which is what I was looking for, which includes a resolution, which includes appropriation of funds, which includes a budget line for with those funds in it. None of those are obligations. So basically, at this point, we don't have any funds obligated other than what was already spent from those ARPA funds. So the unspent funds are not obligated, and as of December 31st, need to be obligated, or when we report in April, and we don't have the proof that those funds were obligated, we have to send all that money back.
As of 31st this year?
Well, it would be, they need to be obligated as of 31st this year. We don't report because we're a town under a certain population, under a certain amount of money that they gave us. We don't report, we only report yearly. So our next reporting period is by April 30th. So
But that doesn't change the obligation date.
no, but so April 30th, and that's the hard part, is so under some of the assumptions that is this an obligation, is a non-obligation, we wouldn't technically know for sure until we report and they say, yep, this stuff counts or this doesn't. So digging further into the rulings and such, that second ruling that they tried to clarify, the first one did actually add in interagency agreements and contracts. So digging into that further, I do believe now at this point we can do simple MOU with the highway department, put the funds into under the DA, under a DA capital project or something that, so we're transferring those funds to the highway under an MOU for them to basically administer the funds and do the work based on the scope of work, the specific scope of work identified in the MOU.
Tell me what an MOU is.
Memorandum of understanding, so an agreement.
So John, did you reach out to the Association of Towns or anything? Everyone must be in the same position, right?
So, yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear to me now after going through all this, what is not an obligation. And so I'm looking at, I know for sure that what we currently have of the funds just sitting in a capital budget appropriated, like we know it's appropriated for that, that's not an obligation. They're real specific with signed documentation that binds you to that money being spent in that way.
And this would do that.
This would do that. I believe this would do that. Again, I sent it to Chris as well to kind of look over. And I based this off of the specific verbiage as well in the, in that ruling, which is like section 17.6 or something of their FAQ document. For the obligation of the funds. And so this would basically, again, it would be based on the scope of work that we would develop as a Schedule A, which would come off of that cost estimate that MRB provided of what you guys would, the work that the highway department would be able to do, but you guys essentially, missed this part, would be the administrator of the rest of the ARPA funds. And that with a subcontracting clause that also, I don't know if you're gonna be doing $700,000 worth of work or not. That would be easy for the highway department to do. Okay, so then we don't have to deal with subcontract. I'd still leave it in there, but we wouldn't have to deal with subcontracting. But as long as it's all done in the specified scope of work. And with this MOU being signed prior to the end of the year, that would obligate the funds.
I assume we'd be changing this attachment A to specify the scope of work, because there's nothing in it right
Correct. That's why I just put in there, this is where the scope, the details would be.
now. And you're
So,
talking about.
I didn't have time,
Not
I
up-
started this between last night and this
Yeah.
morning, so I didn't have time to actually go through
Yeah.
the scope of work.
So we were talking about, we have the project overview that Greg put together for us at 2.2 million for all the Inland Uplands. We figured the road and utilities and all that stuff, to get the road up there, utilities up there is around 1 million or whatever. We kind of were spitballing around that number. That could fit into this very easily. And we still have, if we go over on that, 750 is ARPA, we have 250 in our Parks Fund. That we could fill in that gap just to get road in, electric up there, water up there. Septic.
There's a lot more than
All
250.
the sewer, all of that set. So take that 750, take 250 from there, that gets us to around where we need to, so we're not over obligating ourselves. And we were planning on doing most of that work in-house anyway, at least this, because that's a lot that we can do, save third-party money and all of that. Just do it when we can get it
Well, it
done.
just keeps us from going out to bid for everything.
Yeah, and the things I highlighted, one, the 750, because that's not the exact amount, obviously.
Came out
Yeah.
less than that.
I think it's hovers around somewhere, we,
It's less than that now because we use some of it for the
Around
employee
seven,
salaries.
around 700 left.
yeah, still.
Once we're over.
And some of it has already been obligated based on proposals signed with MRB. For those other items. But, and that's the stuff we just need to maintain the proof of, that shows the date that those things were signed, those contracts were entered. And then the other project milestones, I put that in, but I don't know. If we wanna identify dates to just to really more specify that. This is what's being done with this money at these times, but that'd be up to. That'd be sitting down and determining.
No, letter D being deliverables by the 26th, I mean, we have,
Yes.
that's one that's.
Yes, that's the hard date, is that it has to be spent by December 31st, 2026.
Is there any way to, when you say interagency? That's, I mean, money was given to the town. Is there a definition for interagency? Is
Yes.
interagency between the town of Canandaigua and some outside entity, or
Nope,
or is it intra-agency?
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it intra-agency?
so I'll pull it up here.
I gotta think it'd be something along the lines like.
It gave an example, which made me comfortable with this, because it gave an example between a city council and their police department. Or their public safety department. And that the city council executive. Can enter into an interagency contract with this public safety department. For them to then administer the funds and use those funds for public safety purposes. But. Documents 107 pages.
They didn't make it easy to figure
They
out
didn't
what
make
you
it
can do
easy.
and what you can't do.
That's because they want the money back.
Grant money.
So
I got you.
Mhm.
The treasury considers an interagency agreement, including an agreement in the form of a memorandum of understanding to constitute a transaction requiring payment. Similar to a contract or subaward and therefore an obligation for the purposes of SLFRF rule. If the agreement satisfies one of the following conditions. It imposes conditions on the use of funds by the agency, department, or part of the government receiving funds to carry out the program, which is what this scope of work would do. Yeah, it governs the provision of funds from one agency, department, or part of the government to another to carry out an eligible use of the funds. Again, we kind of did both of those. Or it governs the procurement of goods or services by one agency, department, or part of the government to another. That's where the subcontracting will come into play. Falls into that category where they can also procure funds. Or procure the services that are eligible. And. Because it's one of those three, and the agreement also satisfies each of the following conditions. It sets forth requirements such as scope of work and project deliverables. It is signed by the parties to the agreement or otherwise evidence that each party has assented to the agreement. And it does not disclaim any binding effect or state that it does not create rights or obligations. So, and then the one example it gave, the one that's relevant here is. If a city council has appropriated a certain amount of funds for a public safety initiative to be administered by the city's executive branch through fiscal year 2025, an agreement between the city's chief executive and the city's public safety department, under which the department agrees to comply with reporting and record keeping requirements that facilitate the city's compliance with SLFRF program requirements. So, replace city council with town board, town executive. And public safety with highway department. And I think we're good.
Chris, are we staying inside the rails on this?
I, off the top of my head, it's flimsy, but probably your best shot. It might not be flimsy depending on who published the slide you were reading from, John.
That's the Treasury's Department ruling. It's right from their document.
The example is from their document?
Yes.
Oh, then we're fine. I mean, it's flimsy, but if they say it's fine, it's fine.
And that was.
It's also the best alternative we've got
Mhm.
because there's no other way to spend this and
Yeah.
there hasn't been a way to, I mean, since we started looking at it a couple months ago, we weren't gonna be able to spend this money by the end of this year anyway.
Yeah, and this part of it was that additional clarification ruling that they made where they added the interagency agreements. I guess after lots of questions and issues they were having with their initial ruling and their vagueness of what a contract is and.
Yeah. And initially, when we were all talking about this, the Association of Towns didn't know either. And most municipal attorneys were kind of where we are, or where we were. I don't know, let's lock it up in the budget and call that an obligation. The reason everybody was okay with that, and the reason this will probably be okay, is that in April, when they ask, they're gonna say, was it obligated before the end of 2024? And John's gonna check the box, yes, it was, and sign that it was. And I think that's gonna be the extent of the inquiry.
You don't have to supply proof.
From the reporting portal that we saw, we do have to provide documentation and such that shows it. So,
This would be the,
this would be the document.
That would be the document. And
committing it this way, we're also gonna use a chunk of that money for that employee retention. Do we have to do something?
Monday, the safe bet is gonna be to amend the resolution on the floor to pay it out in the last December payroll.
so we're just moving it up and
Okay, that's good.
it'll
doing
show
another-
up Christmas Eve.
Very good.
Yes, it was discussed amongst board and that agenda review the other day. Everybody agreed to it.
Yeah, it'll be a Christmas Eve miracle.
Yeah.
Pay your
And
tax,
it's
you
all-
pay your
it's
taxes.
down.
Yeah,
Christmas vacation.
and the Hokel Bucks too, the Hokel Bucks will be coming and
Get that pull in, Chuck. You're Clark.
Well, that sounds like a solution then, that we can all. And
I
then-
couldn't sleep last night until I figured it out, so.
You look a little drowsy.
well, I gave him 5 cookies from the box, the box that Ian
We got
sent.
more candy too, so.
So,
you know.
mhm.
So. You. know, well, you may not know the answer. When you make that report, I mean, have we. We've had to do this before, like
No.
this April for,
Well,
was there any response that comes back?
No,
that, yeah,
what-
you guys are okay?
so the problem was when I went in April to do the report, I looked and there had been nothing entered yet. We were supposed to be reporting, but the discussions that we had been having up to that point were, well, we have it obligated and we're not gonna say, we're not gonna put it, and it wasn't put in the report to provide us maximum flexibility with what we wanted to do and where we wanted to go with it. So when I went into the report in April, there was nothing. There was some, if there were a few things that were entered. But there was nothing concrete that was
Yeah.
entered obligating any of this. From the 2 years prior that it had to be entered, because last year was the first year I went in.
Yeah.
So
We have $0.
we have
off.
$0 obligated.
Well, we were initially, we were gonna use the money for County Road 28 sewer project, so
Right.
a year ago right now.
No, and usually we're
That
gonna
was
use
what
my
we were thinking.
Cheshire, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's
But what
right.
but what I,
But we never really tied that down.
yeah,
We almost couldn't make any.
but even the
I think I'd
engineering.
say, yeah, we got,
Yeah.
it. We're gonna.
But even the engineer, some of the engineering and other things hadn't been put in
Oh,
to there yet, so we.
Yeah, 'cause
The point is, we haven't gotten any, so no response yet, whether it's like, good job, guys, or.
Well, we did, that's the email that we got. A
The
Couple months
email
ago that
said, yeah,
says,
the
you've
only email
obligated
was,
nothing.
yeah, the only
And-
email was, you've obligated nothing.
And you have to obligate your
Yeah.
funds by the end of the year, which is what got me looking into it and talking,
That's the,
getting onto the
that's the
portal
email
to
that's got everyone
see.
spooked out.
That's the email,
does,
that's the email that.
I've had like 3 different supervisors now ask me something about ARPA and I'm like, alright, so I gotta get Matt Horn. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
so
here.
that's the thing that's got people thinking, because the initial thought of what an obligation is.
Yeah,
yeah.
and
has morphed.
they're not gonna get, I mean, they're gonna take the money back. They're not gonna give exceptions if you're not showing proof of obligation. And because the people have had this money long enough, so they're gonna want it back, and there have been, as from my understanding, in our meeting a few weeks ago, that there has been money spent. So there are expenditures from the money, it just didn't make it into the reporting for the obligation, so that will all have to get done
all
in
that,
it, in our final
What
report
we have already,
of April for, of what we spent, and that was like looks like we spent
Almost
about,
400,000.
397,000 already, so. There's 761 left, minus the retention, so we still got just hovering over 700,000 left for
remember,
Ononda.
so all of that will have to be reported by the end of the year.
So in the April report to the yearly report to the treasury and the portal. All that will be, whatever's been obligated will be reported, but and then separately is gonna be what's spent, what actually has been spent. So there's different columns that show what's obligated and what's been spent out of those obligations, and then supporting documentation to show it all.
So do we need this for resolution on Monday?
So it's probably, I mean, we're gonna have to sit down and just go through to figure out the Schedule A, and then also some of these milestones. And get told out. I think we probably can do a generic resolution that
It's
says,
a sanitary resolution to exit
Yeah.
both parties.
Give an
to
authorization.
execute the MOU.
to execute a memorandum of understanding. Between the town and the highway department for the obligation of the remaining ARPA funds. I don't think we have to get specific in that, all the specifics are in here, and then once we complete it, the resolution's done already for the authorization to sign it for the end of the year.
Start putting dates on it, can't you just say by 12/31/25? You know, these milestones
Milestones.
by the end of next year.
Could you just
Or
leave it
just,
with
you know,
D?
work's done by
26,
December twenty-sixth.
Good,
yeah.
I mean,
December 31st.
I know, like, part of that, they were looking for, like, for interagency contracts, part of that thing I read. Talked about milestones, so I think it'd be better for us if we put a few extra dates in there, just, rather than just the end of twenty.
We can always not meet. You know,
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, we're not gonna. Make, you know, Jim doesn't come in and say, we finished this by your date,
Right.
right, and be like, well. Then see ya,
Yeah.
get out of here.
Yeah.
But, so I think it's good just to have something to show that we have milestones in there, and then it's up to us how much we. But
Off the top of my head, and I'll look at this MOU carefully, but I think we want two resolutions. One authorizing Jared as supervisor to sign on behalf of the town. And one authorizing Jim as highway superintendent to sign on behalf of the highway department. Cause Jim can't bind the highway department beyond.
Do that in one resolution? Or do we need to?
Of course you could do it in one resolution, but maybe we don't wanna call attention to the fact that the town board is making agreement with itself. So do it in two.
I mean, it's no different, it's
it's just.
Yeah.
It's just as easy.
it's just as easy to do two, just like that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, those done.
I think that's fair, and then generic can just reference the MOU
Yeah,
and clean up the, you know, the details and the dollar amounts in there and
Well, if you leave it at 750, we're not gonna spend that, right? So that's, you know, do you need an exact number?
Could you just say the remainder of the?
Or not to
remaining
exceed
balance?
700.
That's
yeah.
fine.
no,
Yeah.
I
I'll
think.
try to put a specific number in.
Yeah, if we need to obligate.
You're obligating it like that.
If we obligate, if there's a variance there. Then I'm sure, like you said, I mean, if it's like 3,000.
Which is another.
Then they'll be coming back for that.
Yeah, which is probably now thinking about is another good reason to do the payroll or the retention and
Early.
December payroll, so we know exactly how much we have left before the end of the
It's gonna
year.
be under 700 if you're doing another one, because the first one was coming when it was around 760 and it was about $50,000 cost, so it should be around 710 right now. So
No.
if you're doing another one, it's gonna bring it down from there.
No, we have 761,498 after that first retention. So right now, from what the numbers I have from our meeting several weeks ago with Jess, is 761. Well, that's all gotta be double checked and.
Yeah, I think you're missing something in there, because when I first started talking to Lindsay about doing that first. Employee retention bonus, it was at 760 when we were trying to figure out how much we could give out, so there's probably an engineering or something from. One of the sewer projects, something, I think there's something missing.
I've got here a total of $235,305 so far for Ononda Park. 64,459 for Seneca Point Road Culvert, 51,360 for under infrastructure, town sewer and water, that's County Road 28 sewer. And then 46,552 for employee retention, that totals $397,677 out of 1.159 million. Which is where that 761,498 came from, the remainder.
But
So if there's something missing there, then we need to find it.
so I think whatever the agreement is, the balance. The balance less the
More
current
than.
agreement will be that,
Should do more than the balance.
more than the balance.
Yeah, if we overspend it,
So
right,
if
then it's not
we
gonna,
overshoot it,
it's not gonna hurt
we don't
us.
have to return it,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, we can spend less than what we agree to, and then, you know, so it's.
Well, if you spend less than what you agreed to, you'll get money back.
We wanna spend more than what
Less
we
than
agreed.
more than what.
Well,
we
more
agreed
than.
to.
Oh, I'm
You see
sorry.
what I'm
Well,
saying? Yeah,
That's what I meant, if we have less ARPA funds
Right.
than what we agree to provide in,
We're okay,
then
so.
yes,
as long as we overspend, we'll be fine.
yes,
Yeah.
sorry, that's, yeah.
Nah, the joys of government, as long as we spend it. As long as we overspend. We won't get hurt.
And then we would probably need to transfer the funds into a DA capital improvement account or capital. line.
This year,
Yes.
because we have to spend it. Or obligate them.
That's
It's just obligated.
well, I don't know if we have to do the transfer, cause the MOU is saying that
I
we
don't
are
think we need to.
transferring, so as long
It
as,
should still fit under your capital improvement budget.
yeah.
It's still gonna be paid out of the capital project, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
All this is a paper tiger.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
I mean, at some point, you're gonna have to do budget adjustments to show an influx of income into the highway department. And then an outflow of payments for all the work that's being done from the highway department to vendors or staff.
Right.
But I don't see why that would have to be done this year.
No, yeah.
Jim would just have to write a breakdown of the expenses, and then a journal entry would be done to move or to pay the expenses out of the capital project.
That's.
It's just, yeah,
I believe they should at some point though, make it through highway, because we're basically, this MOU is saying that they are now administering those funds. So that it does have to pass through highway at some point to fulfill this
Yeah.
obligation.
so like when Jim does projects for other municipalities or other special districts within the town, he charges back too. It's like a chargeback, so it he incurs the expense in the DA fund, and then the capital project would then pay him back.
Transferring or not?
I think we can.
No, he's gonna
think
charge
if
back.
We don't have to do that. We don't have to make
Well,
that decision right now.
If you, I just think if you did that, then
it's done,
anyone looks,
right,
Then
it's
it's
done,
done.
it's
right.
here, it was an obligation, here, look, it actually.
See,
went.
this is what we did, I agree with that,
It would make it cleaner.
yeah, I think, why
Just
not?
I mean, you gotta be careful with your capital budgets. I don't know if did we adopt the bond resolution for this thing?
For Ananda?
For Ananda?
No, because we're not.
But we
planning
will
on it.
eventually, for when you actually have to do any borrowing for the bathhouse, if you're gonna do any borrowing.
Right.
Well,
may not
I
need to.
You may not need to, okay.
Right. We haven't
Yeah, I would
decided.
pay for it.
Well,
Yeah.
my point is like that resolution that would establish a project maximum. So it's important for your bookkeeping to make sure that all those costs are tracked through that capital versus.
Capital project.
Because you can run into the issue, like, I've seen other people do this, where you have pots of money and you're working off a capital budget. And then you exceed that project, that authorization, then you've got to rebond.
It's probably best if Jim just charge back to the capital project, then we also know how much it costs, so.
Well, it does, at the very least, it doesn't have to be transferred. Anytime soon, because if this is fulfilling the obligation alone, not the actual
Right.
transfers or spending of the money, it's just this contract that we're signing.
But we're not transferring it.
No.
Or we are
Well, you're obligating it.
obligated, yeah, by talking about the.
I'll spend it and then it'll reimburse highway.
Right, so we're not gonna transfer, we'll just spend and charge back.
Just gotta do it in the next.
That's how we
few
normally
years.
do
I have to look more into that, because it may require. Once we obligate it to spend, it may require. With him being the administrator of those funds, therefore it being
In his
in
control.
his control,
Seems
so.
to me that.
That's what you're saying, that's what you're thinking?
Couldn't Jim just write a PO that says, here's
So that's what you're
$761,000
thinking?
bill? Right?
Anyone walks me and say, look.
Yeah. In the long run, we'll figure it out exactly what. There's nothing like a canceled check for proof of payment. I mean, the more documentation we do on it, I think would be
You can
the
also say that we just increased Jim's budget by 750,000 too, if we transfer the money.
And don't you be going high wild.
Yeah.
Well, obviously you guys pay the bills with no, so.
We would just say.
I don't know, sometimes you buy some towels and I'm like, what the hell?
So it'll dig a little more, and then we'll.
Yeah, it's not, that part's not urgent.
That's not vital before the board meeting.
Okay, so. Result.
We think so.
Till Monday.
I would point out the irony in all of it, anyway. I think many of the people sitting around this table feel that the government has exacerbated inflation and a lot of the problems we have, that we're facing as a country now through spending all this money.
Mhm.
That makes us accomplices, doesn't it, after the fact?
What does it make us if we don't take the money? That's the problem. Yeah.
Well, public would think we're idiots.
Yeah.
But they don't realize it's coming out of their pocket.
Right.
So.
It's free money, Jerry, free money.
That's
Free
what
money,
it's like.
right.
Same as the law enforcement technology grant that they put out, and it was initially gonna be 50 million, and they got 175 million requests, and they're like, we'll just approve it all.
Oh my.
Great for the departments, but not so
Right.
great for.
Taxpayers.
Just as an aside, what do you actually plan on? I mean, you got to put dates in, I'm looking for that now, but. Were you gonna start this in the spring?
We're waiting for
You got-
secret to be
Secret,
complete.
right.
Yeah, very clear
So
secret.
we haven't hauled stone in for the stone base.
Okay.
Okay, we've been,
Down there or out?
well, we store it here, there's no place really good down there to keep it. So, but yes, we were bringing stone in for the stone.
So once we pass seeker and all that, you pass the times and all, then will
Well,
you be starting this during the winter or?
I like to clear trees,
So,
yeah, this winter.
We need to clear the trees in the winter.
Yeah, exactly,
Ground
with
is
that.
Sorry.
Oh, it's
Sorry.
long eared, white nose.
It's the long-haired combat or something.
Or something like that, yeah, we got.
it was the ding.
Ah,
It's not the dingbat?
that could be a thing. I don't know.
There's a thing that down that way.
Just, you know, there's weeks of the year you can't.
Right, right.
So. But yes, I think, I think Ted was going there today to survey.
I think you're right. We can talk about.
Him from Coker
Wilcox.
Surveying. So he's gonna survey through the, now when I say through the woods, it's not as deep, I sent the email out, it's not
Yeah.
as deep.
It's
as I
on the
thought.
edge,
It's
right,
not
yeah.
on the edge, so.
Yeah,
Survey that up through there so we know where to stay versus just a center line, the guys are veering a little bit left or right, so. Anyways,
So next week we'll
Okay.
meet up sometime, couple of dates, and we'll have guests there to also just go through one more time every. PO or anything that we've already assigned to these ARPA funds, to come up with the total numbers and make sure we're not missing anything here.
she's usually here Wednesdays and Thursdays. Jess, are you here Wednesday and Thursday next week?
She dropped off.
She might have dropped off. Yeah, I guess
She's
she's
muted.
sure, you don't see her up there anymore.
She wasn't really showing what they were talking either.
Okay.
It's magic.
Well, let's move it along then, back to number one, North Road information meeting, we want to. Get together with people, and let them know what's gonna be coming at them and.
Yep.
Sometime in January, hopefully. Is there
Yeah.
anything Talk with.
We can, I think well, so what I was talking to Greg earlier, like, what I think we need to do is. We need to have something paper ready and deliver to all of them. And then get that a couple weeks before the meeting, I was thinking mid, I mean,
Yeah.
like third week in January type of thing.
You give them that.
No, give that to them as soon as we have it done.
Right.
But the meeting sometime third week of January, and the letter would have all the pros and cons, this is what we're doing, this is the impact it's gonna have, these are some, Greg
We were talking
idea.
about, yeah,
It can be all these other things that they're gonna need to know, give them the paper, and then have the public meeting towards the middle end of January.
You might not wanna have it during that school break time.
If there isn't one in January.
Oh, just Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah, so if we do it towards the middle end, all I need is that date, so we just need to have a date set for that, and then we can get the spots booked too.
so regarding the website. I don't think I really have much other than, I think maybe Chuck gave me some feedback. I don't think I got feedback from anybody else, so. if you guys can, if there is any feedback on the website. Can you try to email me over like the next, week or so? So we can get that updated, so that it can be hot linked to, or linked to your website. The town's website for public information. And then, yeah, we can create the one sheet for the walk around, and yeah, basically we just thought we'd break it down, just identify the inconveniences that people are gonna go through as part of this project, give them an idea of the duration. Things that'll, the steps that they'll see, going through the project, so.
Are we gonna invite like the bus garage folks and such?
Actually, Greg, actually, correct, Rex has Dave Herman contacting all agencies in the area.
Yeah, those emails should go out today. It'll go out to the city of Canandaigua, Ontario County DPW, the school, Canandaigua Farmington Water, RG&E, and NICEAG, so.
And the VA too, probably.
What's up?
The VA too.
Well, that gate's closed.
I know, but they got that property that is on North Road too.
I don't like the VA. They've cost us a lot of money
I know
over
they
the
have.
years, so they can suffer.
Yeah, we'll make them, yeah.
I think that's the main agencies that are in the area,
Sorry, buddy.
I left Spectrum off and, just 'cause,
Cable guy.
yeah.
A lot.
The telephone, yeah, cable, like, whatever.
So,
Yeah.
Jared, you're thinking the week of the 20th?
I think-
It's a weird.
Yeah, anytime we can, if we have a date we like, then give that, and
Well, you guys have like a couple of meetings already in January, right?
yeah, I mean, we could push it in the beginning of
Martin Luther
February.
King,
I just-
Martin Luther King's on the 20th,
Right.
so that
What
is a short
works?
week.
I guess my question is, what works for you guys schedule wise?
Are you doing it here? Are you gonna do it at the school? or
We're
are you
doing it
gonna
at
do
school.
School.
So what works for you guys?
The 21st would be fine for me.
Do we wanna have, so we have a board meeting the 6th, we also have a board meeting the 31st in January. February, we have a board meeting on the 24th. No, the 7th,
We have a board meeting the 13th, don't we?
February.
January.
February, we have, yeah, January 13th, I haven't spoken to the 6th, I'm going over. February, we have the meeting on the 24th, because the week of the 17th is President's Day week, and it's winter break. So,
Do you wanna check with the school when they have availability? Are you doing it in the auditorium?
no, we're just gonna do the large group instruction room. So. Do you wanna shoot for the end of January or beginning of February?
Everything always takes longer, so probably February.
Shoot for like February 10th?
Make sure he's got time to.
Yeah, to get everything ready to go. Do you guys like the Monday? Stick with a Monday kind of thing?
That's fine.
So what do you wanna shoot for February 10th? I will.
Yes.
So I will book I'll get the room booked, I'll fill out all the applications to use the room. For February 10th, if that does not work.
Want to say a tentative time?
I'd say 7 p.m.
Do you wanna back up in case the school's.
In case that doesn't work, do you wanna go for another day that week, or do you want to go the week prior? And we could do the 11th or the 12th. As backup dates, just so we're not losing a week of prep.
I can make the 12th would still work.
You can make the 12th?
Yeah.
Of February.
So I will shoot for February 10th or February 12th.
So I'm gonna put in the 10th till we hear it doesn't work.
Since you're doing the LGI too, you might wanna have some sort of staffer to direct people there, because people who aren't connected to the school will have no clue how to find the LGI.
We can, if we can get that date confirmed, that location confirmed before we put out the one sheet, we can put it on there.
Yep. Work on this day.
Maybe a map to the room, as Adeline says, on that one sheet.
It's confusing.
That's the front and back, all right.
Yeah.
Probably a front bathroom. I mean, that room's just a little bit more intimate than like the auditorium.
Well, the auditorium is gonna be filled with kids practicing for the new school. So you're not gonna be able to use that stage.
Where is it from?
It's to the, if you walk in the main door, it's to the left of the atrium, so.
Only done the auditorium once, I was changed the zoning.
All right, I will let you guys know.
All right, next on the list was the meeting dates for next year. We already set one for January, be January 10th. Yeah, 10th. But we'll just keep it the same next year, the Friday of the first full week of each month. I didn't look to see if there what
Let's see.
so many problems with that or.
February 7th, no conflict, March 7th, no conflict, right? April 11th. Probably no conflict, May 9th.
July 1st is the 4th, so it might move to the 11th.
June 6th is the first full week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
August 8th.
July 11th, August 8th. September,
I go to 12,
well.
you got Labor Day on the 4th.
Yeah. Labor Day's the first, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, we'll just skip that week, people.
yeah, I think so.
October 10th,
November 7th, December
December 12th.
12th, right?
Well, either.
So the only change, well, there's a couple changes, aren't there? No, not really.
Pretty much. all.
Yeah, it's the first full week, Friday.
Okay. Well, what? Who's that? Crystal?
Crystal, yeah, what's that?
I'll let her know. I'll give her the paper. Going to the Bristol IMA, something Jim wanted to discuss today, that
Yeah, we've been, myself, John, Jared, with going. Trying to pick up. The things were left off over a year ago. With getting. New language written. Units, district users. What am I missing, guys? I wanted to get some sort of a reserve built up in that district because. It has done, and when we have. Like we recently had a large expense in there that wasn't budgeted for. What happens is the can't have consolidated, ends up paying for it, then becomes a due from. Being that they'll pay for it when the next tax bill comes around, because we'll have to put it in their operation and maintenance costs. Because this district has so little money in it all the time. And it's not the first time this has happened, but I think we need to. Set an amount. For repairs, so it's in there for this work that has to be done in this district, is what I'm getting at.
Do you think that would require just, cause. All, the original one is 2006, and it looks like, or I see all the ones after were just reference the original. Renewal of the 2006, and then any amendments, thereafter. So do you think it'd be worth just doing a fresh new one, or keep renewing the 2006 and then just continuing whatever amendments? Because I think it's gonna be hard, because I only found this one, so I don't know how many other amendments there are, because looking through Krislin's folders too, there seems to be just gaps in the years. So I'm wondering if it might be better to just start from scratch and do a fresh one. So we can
we do that?
track the
I would
amendments.
do a semi scratch, because I think we have to memorialize. The existing
Yeah,
debt of the district. And then we need to update. It's been 18 years. How to tax the district for repairs and district users. And the other large thing that's been in discussion for years is. So when they do a bit of a basis as far as the cost of interest and principal, what that means is everybody pays the same amount regardless of assessment. The problem we run into is Airline has a barn that just sits on some property. But they don't live there, but they have water. So the question becomes, is it a 1 or is it a 3? 1 being 1 unit, 3 being 3 units, you get 3. Say you use $100, so it'll be $300.
But the 3-unit assessment is typically for a single family home.
I'm of the opinion that if you there using water, even though you're not there 24/7, it's a 3 in my opinion. It has.
Water's there.
Water's there and you're utilizing it. You might not live there, but you might have a pole barn to
Drawn on.
do a workout.
Are they different lots?
Each was a
Yeah.
separate lot, yeah.
So then why, yeah, I agree, why wouldn't you tax the lot?
Well, the residents don't want to be taxed.
They
Yes.
don't
That
want,
one's
if they
every
just
year.
have a shed with
Yeah.
water, they don't wanna be paying the same as somebody with a
What?
4,000 square foot house.
So if
But
you
a
had a
one-
separate lot.
For a minute, can I interject for a minute?
Yes,
Before you get into this, before you spend any more time on this conversation, Jim,
yes.
would you please tell the folks who don't know, how many parcels this issue affects?
300?
Well, there's 300
Oh,
units,
300
with
units.
69 parcels.
It's like nothing.
We're talking about a few $1,000s. Every year, the town of Bristol makes the town of Canandaigua get all worked out about this issue.
Yeah.
Spend money on legal fees. Either do it or don't do it, but don't waste too much time on it. It's just, it's very important to the town of Bristol. Last year, the town of Canandaigua said, no, this doesn't seem right. But I would advise not killing yourselves over this issue.
I mean, they do pay less if they're not using this much because it's not paying for as much water. I mean, that's.
Base quarterly charge.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think the town boards are going to define. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but what do we call a structure on a property that has water?
What's an improved parcel?
What's an improved parcel?
Yeah,
Or the argument versus if I bring a shed and drop it off from Lowe's. Okay, they're storing something, but if I build a pole barn, say I wanna work out of it, that's to me is a different scenario.
So Jim, just as level set it, 3 is you have water on your property.
No, 3
They all
means
have water.
it's an improved lot, it's not vacant.
Okay, so they might have water, they might not have water,
They might have water going past or.
right, but they don't hook up to it, they're still a 3. If
They
it's
don't
an
hook up to
improved
it, they're
lot,
on one.
They're one.
so they're 1
They're
then.
So
one.
if you build a house, water goes by, but you pull from a well, you're a 1.
One.
because you pay for the water going in front of your house,
Right.
but you're not benefiting from it. If you have an empty lot that you pull water into because you have a horse there and an open field with no barn,
It's
You're three.
then
that's,
That's a 3, I mean,
Well,
you're pulling water, but
that's,
this is the
so
debate.
that's the debate.
yeah, I mean, to me, that's a 3.
I like ad
Right.
districts.
These
So anyways,
It's just simply, if they're hooked into the
Yes.
system and
Yes.
utilizing the water, it's a 3. If you're not hooked into the system and
One.
not utilizing the water, it's a 1. As soon as you hook into it, it's a 3.
Right.
So that's
I agree.
the answer that does not have anything to do with how fancy your house or barn or shed is. It's if you're using the water, you're a 3.
If you have a low shed and you've got water, you're a 3.
What about Home Depot shed?
If Home Depot
Doesn't matter,
4,
you
then
use
it's a 4,
water.
let's create a new category.
But I know it's silly, but this is the,
Well, here we are, Chris,
It's 'cause
spending
they-
a lot of time arguing about it.
you sure are.
You are,
Spent a lot of
and
time on it last year.
part of this is trying to make it,
Fair?
say, equal amongst all the property owners, cause then you get a property going. Well, I've got a barn, I paid a 3, he's got a barn, he's paying a 1, see, that's where it's.
And it's the
I think
word,
I think as
it's
Alan
the
said,
word unimproved, right? It's not the improvement, it's the utilization of
of
the
water, right? If the water's there and there's not a house on it, a structure on it, I think it's a 3.
If the water's being used.
I don't care if it's being used or not, if they tap that line, cause that's stuff we
No,
maintain.
no, I mean, if it's tapped into.
Right, it's tapped into 3.
If it's just going by,
Yeah,
you know, it's
one.
a one.
But we can agree on that, but the debate is Bristol, you think this discussion,
never wanted
their
to.
discussion is even deeper
Yeah.
and more.
Bristol's is the exact opposite position as what you guys just said.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's the,
They don't even want you to be charged if you have a quote unquote unbuildable lot.
Yeah,
That's
that's-
what
that's-
they're
that's-
doing, that's-
Yeah.
So,
That's,
So we just turn the valve off.
Yeah.
So I've said before, throw a master meter in and say.
and we can't, yeah, and we can't do anything because they still have their debt, so we
Right.
can't absorb them, we can't do anything else,
No.
and that debt's no, it's like a credit card.
Yeah.
The debt's never gonna go away,
it's got
because they're
12 more
always,
years, right?
Yeah, somewhere else 2037 or 8, it's done,
oh Lord.
so. Well, thanks, Chris.
Happy to help. But keep in mind, and this is what the conversation was with last year's, or last year or the year before. There's debt through 2036, and I forget what the town of Bristol contributes towards that debt each year, but a couple years ago, somebody told me, and it's like a few $1,000 a year, maybe?
No, it's, well, the debts, I don't know, I had to pull up the budget and let you know
But-
what it is, but. You mean like
Either way.
operation and
Probably
maintenance? Yeah, it's
400
not
times,
much.
it's probably 470
Either way,
units, you know, roughly.
giving people discounts and changing the structure so you're bringing in less money doesn't seem like a great way to.
No,
Counterintuitive to what we want to do.
And for the town of Canandaigua to shed this, either, you're tied to them with the debt. So, and you can't pay the debt off faster. So just a thought, it's what it was discussed a few years ago. And it sounds like that's where you guys are now. But
The IMA also stipulates the out of district users, so, there was something in there about like assessing on 5
5
units.
units
for-
versus 3.
Well, you don't have a way to make a special assessment to the out of district users, because they're out of district, so it has to be their quarterly charge.
Right.
Which we,
do that.
we did the math, we could basically just say it's 1.75 times the inside rate would be what the outside rate would be, and that basically balances out roughly to that $700 a year annually.
Well, now we're
They
also
have a
talking about
quarterly
those
charge.
tank,
Yeah.
well, they need to make a tank improvement.
Making
So Fred was trying to figure out how to make tank improvements. And looking at borrowing money to do that, or trying to get a grant to do that, and
But as I alluded to earlier, there's no money in the district to pay for
They
it.
can't even,
Right.
they can't even pay for a grant application.
yeah.
So. I mean, the town of Bristol could pay for the grant application and reimburse themselves. But the other problem we ran into with the same grant application was the project's so small. Even for rural development.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't-
It's like,
It's a lot of red tape for.
for a few $100,000.
Yeah, it's not a huge number.
No,
It's in a typical system, it's not a huge number, but in that system, it's massive.
But
yeah,
they could go after SAM grant and get the whole thing paid,
Yes.
right.
Just
which
try
is,
their best
which is,
out
which
of
is
your
my,
band.
that's my recommendation, to try to hit that with a SAM grant.
But then you have Fred complain every time he talks to Greg, cause there's
Sounds
fees
expensive.
involved. And he looks at the town of Canada, well, like, we should be doing something, like, well, it's not the town of Canada, we should be doing something, it's a water district.
so we'll give them that recommendation you just made and say, you gotta send them $100 check.
I
Or
can
go
give them the
say-
same.
I mean,
recommendations,
like,
just call
I
Andrea Bailey, but
can
it's
have
great.
Lori probably do at least the initial app for free for Bristol to do the SAM grant, that's probably not an issue.
I don't really need to do an app for a SAM grant.
Do we do
Just
repairs?
Connect with Andrew Bailey's office. and-
There's a form.
But
you
we
have to
didn't
fill
budget
out.
for this repair this year, that I
Yeah.
did not expect to be this much money to repair the altitude anti-cavitation valve that we was 17 years old, it was not working, it wasn't working at all, so.
How
We
much is
shouldn't
the
have to spend a
water?
penny on. We shouldn't be incurring any cost at all, it should be laid on them for anything.
Well, we do in
Water
operation and
usage.
maintenance, we do collect that,
Yeah,
but we didn't
but you
collect it out
can't-
this year.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to is. Build up a reserve, you're gonna have to boost that significantly, like a multiple of what it is.
Yeah, I understand, I
I
agree.
mean, so,
What's the ballpark on the cost on the tank? Is the tank that needs to go?
Or,
No,
is it, we're,
I thought you said,
we're talking about doing a THM removal system in the tank, so.
What's the
It
ballpark?
was like, it was around a couple $100 grand.
yeah, like
Yeah.
two fifty.
and he was initially talking about trying to bond it. But with the dish, but then it's like, but I don't know how many people actually benefit from that tank, cause there's.
Yeah,
ones
That's
that are
just the
uphill.
people, yeah, it's just the people downstream
So-
of the tank.
people.
Yeah,
You
no,
can't, you're gonna
That's
bond
gonna
it
go
with
across the whole district,
15,
even though the tank is,
Part of the overall system.
yeah.
oh, so.
going back to your comment about just throw a master meter in it.
Here's your bill.
Yeah, I mean, what's the cost to do that?
Oh, we'd probably be somewhere around 60,000.
You already have the vault, so you just have to reconfigure it. to pipe
No,
it.
we don't have a bulk thing,
Well, no, where the PRV is, right? That's pretty close to the
That's-
town line, or is that too far
that's too
in?
far. Yeah, we have to put a, or else, we'll do it cheaper, we'll do a hot box,
Right,
we'll bring up a Bob into a hot box and,
But we'd be looking
Well,
at 50 grand.
is
to put
that-
that.
well, more like, that probably be right around 25, 30 by the time we're done.
Is that even an option? Or is
No, you guys, you can't, I don't think you can.
that- Thank you.
That's just Jim's dream world. is all that is.
You
Probably,
can, the minute they pay the debt off, you can.
well,
Okay.
probably because we have joint debt, we can't just say
Yeah,
a couple words and here's the bill.
Right,
Yeah, that's probably.
Honestly, that's exactly what we did with the town of Hopewell. When,
there was no,
finally paid off.
but there was no debt,
They were thrilled about that.
Yeah, once the debt was paid, or, yeah, there was no debt.
no, we took the. I agree.
Why do we
Anyways,
push the on them to get the.
The debt.
build up the cash? Too late.
well, this year is too late.
For next year's budget,
Do it next
For
year.
for next year, that rate's gotta go up.
So-
Right.
so- well,
Yeah, so,
that's
yeah,
that way.
exactly.
Yeah.
What was it, 69 cents was what?
Yeah, somewhere.
I mean, that's not gonna get you that.
No, that's not.
No, it's not, but
I mean,
like I
we-
said, it's, on the other hand, I can't let the tank not fill. You know, I can't
Yeah.
not have water going to the tank, not only for drinking, but for fire protection.
Yeah.
So,
And then if we were, cause that we can make changes on the rate. But if we were to change that $300 unit charge, is that negotiable? Is that
No,
in the, can
that's-
we change that? Is that set in
that's
the
that
agreement?
agreement, your benefit basis pays for the debt service.
Okay, so that was set, so that
That's
can't be
set.
touched.
Can they also be borrowing against kind of consolidated?
I don't think Jess likes it when we
Yeah,
do from,
there's a
to
lot of
from,
them.
so. Yeah, it's not necessarily the best way to,
No, why should we subsidize?
Right.
I agree with you.
We already
I'm
are
with you.
doing that.
Yeah, I'm with you, I
That's-
mean, I'm just saying,
I'm just throwing your option out there that I see floating around.
Well, that's right up there of Master River, I guess. So, yeah.
you know, it's just something that, it's a very small district with some significant complications in the district. You got college water main, that's create problems, you got a tank, you have a lack of use, it's just.
This is a statewide problem. I can't tell you how many municipalities have contacted me about these problems they're having maintaining these teeny tiny districts that got created, and now they're incredibly expensive to maintain at this point, and there's no grants that are gonna help.
Taking Chris's advice, have you already spent enough time on this?
So moved.
Oh, we don't need a second, we move them. All right, well, that's, next year we do something with all of them,
Yeah.
help them out a bit with the application for a tank. And just hope they go. Number 5,
It's not gonna go away.
no,
I don't
no.
think that can be reflected in the minutes.
Updating water master plan, it's been what, 7 years, 8 years?
8 years.
8 years?
I think it was 2017 we did the last one. And we did budget for one this year.
Yeah.
Okay, and in there, we We used to be in a position in town where we put in water districts quite regularly when we had less than population of 10,000. So we got a lot of, saying a lot, we got money from rural development, USDA and different things to get done. Well, now our median incomes, we always exceeding, we're over 10,000. So water district expansions have not been very forthcoming because of costs now to people who want it. But once they hear the number, don't want it no more. So I would like us to review what we have, but we should be thinking about our current system and the maintenance it needs for the next 15, 20 years, so we have something in writing to go with any grant that we're looking to do for the future, but also meet these goals. And one of the things I'd like to start looking at is improving our cybersecurity at our locations throughout. We did eye opener the other day. Greg had brought in counterterrorism group to a training seminar. These small systems again are vulnerable to people doing ransomware or controlling stuff to water and sewer districts that happen throughout the United States, not just here. And there's things that we should look at improving because our system does run off SCADA systems. So
Off what?
SCADA, supervisory control acquisition data system.
Yeah.
Thank you. What that basically is John, I can go to my phone,
It's
I can
a
turn
cloud,
on, turn off the pump. I can control the chlorine, I control blowers, valves, that kind of stuff, and
So someone could very easily get into that system and manipulate those things, just.
There's the
like we do.
plan.
this potential is there, John, that they could, now we do have, in my opinion, a good company that oversees it, but again, they could be, but they oversee a lot of small systems, they could be
Monday, Dave.
Yes,
you being
See that.
somewhere else in the world and.
Yep.
Hack in, I think.
see ya. Sorry. I gotta go.
And take over a system like similar to when we had our ransomware here, when they took over the server. Fortunately, we had a backup someplace. So that's one of the things I would like to look into. There's. We did do so well due to the fact that they gave all the money away for the ARPA. Recently to other projects that I'm sorry, I apologize. That thing, not that we didn't score well, it's just there was already projects going on, they're still funding.
They
So
they
we-
gave out what's called enhanced CLIA, so it was like a carryover for people that were underfunded the previous fiscal year. Without an application, they got more money. So there was a lot of enhanced CLIAs that came out this year.
I would like to identify areas of the town, instead of, let's say, you try to either half or a mile a year of watering, something that will allow us to start replacing the ACP without a large grant to go for each. I mean, we should still apply, but we need to start thinking about how we're going to replace this, because we can't continue to wait for a grant to come or something to help us pay for these expenses.
That's one that I recommend when we get the sales tax numbers and whatever our surplus is from this year. That's a good time to have a specific amount going specifically towards your ACPs.
I don't know if we use sales tax for the water district, it's not townwide.
So who performs this study?
Oh, NRB does, NRB.
And do we have a price to do that yet?
Well, we have a budget number that we
Yeah.
got from last year of 35 to redo the report,
It's in the budget for that.
yeah.
And how long does it take to do the report?
About a year.
I was gonna say probably like 6 months.
All right.
in case there's one.
6 months?
Yeah, we should get a proposal together.
Yeah, we
Get
do it
going.
next year, so,
Roll that into the new.
other things that
Would
I
be,
would,
we would apply again next year for a week.
Yes.
Yeah, we can apply for that, and then, the other thing is to maybe apply for an earmark for it as well.
Would it help to have this study? It could be cited in that grant. Or.
I mean, you already have a separate PER for for the water main replacement, so that would be used for the earmark as well, as long as the grant guidance doesn't change, you know, there's not a tremendous amount of differences that we are modifications to the report that we'd have to do. So,
Um,
I mean, it's always good to have
What's
a
it
reference as a supporting
preliminary
document.
that's what I
estimate
mean.
or
Yeah.
The ones that application that probably didn't.
Supposedly it's in May of 25, so near the end of May of 25.
Another item that needs to be addressed, and again. For us to, how to fund it is gonna be our pressure reducing valves, the valves are undersized for domestic use due to our growth. And they have to be modeled so that the correct size can be put in each one. I can show you the graph, what's happening to. The Foster Whiteful's Road area.
And these pressure reducing valves are spaced periodic or spaced throughout the community.
Yeah, so they're at a grade line, John, and they're all somewhere, let's say, at the 700 feet above sea, 700 feet above.
Yep.
They're all in that area. When the system was built, they used 2-inch for domestic flow,
Yes,
but we've grown in this area, so now what happens is the 8-inch operates inefficiently. Because the 2 inches open all the way, it can't provide the water, so now the 8-inch starts to operate, we call it chatter. It wants to work up and down all the time, it keeps sending waves of pressure to the system. So we need to, again, look at our current system and update it so we can know what size PRV to put in each vault, so that we don't, the 8-inch is really meant for fire flow or water, not for domestic use.
so the 2-inch the valves need to be upsized.
Yeah, it's not just the valves though, we're gonna have to retap the
Yeah,
main,
right,
because it's 2-inch water service.
Yes,
Right.
So we need to upsize the water service inside the vault.
upsize the water service also.
Yeah, like go from 2-inch to a 4-inch.
Yes,
Okay, so I'm just talking, so you understand more why I'm asking for this and what there is maintenance wise for our system.
and we need a projection, what's gonna happen into the future.
Yeah,
And
and-
that's basically what MRB would be doing, right?
right, and then we can take these numbers and go, okay. We're gonna tackle this year.
We
We
prioritize
use,
it based on what.
yeah,
the
and John come up with a
reports-
capital improvement plan like he's gonna do for the rest of everything, right, John? And then in the water district, oh, literally in the water district, to know how to, okay, we gotta fund this year, we gotta fund this year.
Yeah,
It's a, no different than road.
It's a roadmap to prioritize where we go.
Can I ask, is there any anticipated growth or extensions of water districts in this master plan, or are we really just talking about a water district capital improvement plan?
I don't know if it identifies any specific extensions, but I mean, it does contemplate like certain service areas,
We'd have to adapt. for
So-
growth in those
Is
other-
that just getting
It's-
consolidated?
Just consolidate.
yeah, it's just Canada consulting.
You know, one thing that's, well, I've been, I'll give you, and I know I brought this up before, is another point of connection to County Road 16 off of Jewel Road. I know we've had a study what it costs, but I'll give you an example. Like, I had to do a shutdown for 4 hours on that thing the other day. Because once you're past Wells Curtis Road, there is no water anymore once I shut it off, period. So, you know, you got 2.5 miles of water main that's dead to every private, off the road, private drive. It's not ideal, to do so, and. Where I'm going with this is that we have 3 stream crossings, if for some reason something happened between that stream crossing. Going forward, actually we have 5, there's no way to isolate it, is to shut off at Wells Curtis Road and then fix it sometime later. That's just one of the things that I think for the water district needs redundancy for that end of the town. I like to see the water main in Cheshire be moved to the front of it because everything's behind the houses now. There's 1, 2 fire hydrants in Cheshire that actually.
And it's all non-standard piping.
That's on private property?
It's on
No, it's on
easement.
easement.
I'll show you the map sometime.
It's on an easement.
Yeah,
it's-
Ian's behind the homes,
Yeah.
but it's all non-standard.
It's a mess.
It's all
That's
non-standard.
pretty
pipe,
easy to
though.
work with too. so.
It doesn't meet the town standard, like everything that we put in the town now is like pressure class 300 PVC, so it's like. That stuff is like, you know, it's like, what is it, it's like a push on.
It's a
gas track.
160 class.
Yeah.
Or 160 class well piece and pipe.
Yeah, it's
So it's all sharp blade.
right, yeah,
It's not even sharp blade, too thin,
Yeah.
wrong OD, bar fittings and hose clamps,
right,
so.
Which are all riding away.
Yeah, so, you know, and then there like, there's, you know, we could be talking about. Putting. Like at 5 and 20 new crossings that have to be updated because, to get future, like maybe spend. 100,000 this year for the grant we're getting the following year to go forward. There are many things in our district that can be addressed. So, and I would like to bring that, in this current one, we had identified district extensions, but. I don't really see those happening due to the cost.
So this would be more of maintenance and upkeep,
Upgrades.
system upgrades,
right.
plan.
Replacement. and-
Replacement.
Focus on what you got.
Well, having that plan also, you know, like prioritizing all these different pieces helps us during budget season to incorporate those as we can going forward, so. I mean, you could easily spend tens of millions of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
All the ACP pipe, all these, here.
How many miles at ACP?
Oh, it's 50 something miles.
4 miles,
Yeah.
basically.
So,
So identifying that, I mean. In how we pay for it, that's always gonna be an issue, but. If you have it identified and you can point to a plan, grant applications and such. Or justification to the public. Here's what we gotta do, that's why your water costs are going up, or that's why the, you know, you're being charged for. All those replacements.
In this proposal, you map out all the water?
no, the water main's already mapped, it's in the town GIS.
Yeah.
So, it's really just, I think it's basically going through the existing document and updating it and then adding in the pieces that Jim was talking about for cybersecurity and.
Do we have sub-districts for anything that wasn't like, you know, a new build, like is there a sub-district on 16 from, no, it's not.
Everything's, all
So
that's
they're
paid
all
for.
just straight up kind of consolidated?
Only part that isn't is County Road 30, that has that, and McIntyre Road. And part of 32 has that.
So what do you do when they build a Lakewood Meadows? We're not, we just join kind of consolidated.
Yeah, 'cause they
regular
paid
rate?
for it, they put it all in for us.
Yeah, so,
They paid for the expense of all the utilities.
okay, going in, so.
Actually, the people that bought houses.
Well, yeah, no, I know, but that's what I'm saying, it's like, but it obviously added work to the system, additional
Oh, yeah.
pressure on the system, so we're just playing the same. It's not like the lighting district or something like that, where we're paying an extra
No.
new district.
No, we're not paying, but it does add to your maintenance and repairs of your system.
Well, that's what I'm saying, I'm just wondering going forward if there should be an additional assessment on large neighborhoods like that that are coming into kind of consolidated beyond.
Not allowed, you're not allowed to do that.
Okay.
But that's.
So where I was going was, are
Okay.
these 54 miles basically pipe?
Yes,
Yes.
So all the water service in Canandaigua is mapped somewhere.
yes.
And we,
Oh, yeah, we can
and
pull
we
it.
know what it is.
Yep.
So this has nothing to do with the mapping, it
No.
just has to do with. Looking into the future in terms of. Capital improvements.
Right.
We have a couple extensions.
You might have a couple
Yeah.
of sections,
Here's
but,
Brook and.
Yeah,
you know, like,
that aren't in there, you're saying?
It may not be, they been
Well, I mean,
developed
if
since
you
then.
do, if you do dual road like he's talking about, that would be an extension.
So then would the proposal update what is not included?
I'm sure it can be,
I mean,
yes.
it's whatever scope you guys want, so
Right.
I think that maybe that's the thing you
And
guys
that
wanna do
number
is.
was that contemplated?
Oh, we just had a
Just a
initial discussion, like,
general
yeah, if
conversation.
you had to update the water master plan, what would it be, right? So I gave him a budget number based off
Yeah.
of just that, so I'm like, I think it's, the town should go ahead and exactly lay out what scope you want included, because that'll help you write the proposal anyways, but
So
that'll
let me,
also help you put numbers to everything as well.
let me ask a question then, should we map? Developments that have occurred post this?
We do, oh, no, we do, John, we do, everything that's going in as a subdivision.
Yes,
The developer is required to give us a jet or not an AutoCAD map that we then upload into the GIS.
Okay,
Yeah,
So like and that gets charged back to the developer.
okay, that kind of,
yeah.
Yeah,
that's-
and that's an on demand as it goes through. So like Pierce Brook, once, that finally gets to the point of, before they take dedication, that's one of those things when they have the dedication checklist is, did we get the information from the GIS, is it updated?
That's all utilities.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all.
Gas bill.
Yes,
Mhm.
so, those are things that.
they have cable on that too?
Oh, sure.
No,
That I don't-
cable,
I
no,
don't
We
think
don't do
so.
that?
no, we don't, well, it's
It's
not
not
our
our
utility,
utilities.
so we don't.
Yeah.
Usually what you will see though is a utility corridor, there's usually an easement over it,
Okay,
particularly in front of the properties, because the water and sewer, water is on one side, sewer is stored on the other. By the time we get done with our easement, there's not much left in the right of way.
Yeah.
So they end up having a utility
For gas and
easement for
electric.
gas, electric, cable in front of the properties.
okay.
And they can, like Spectrum can tell you, for example, where they have a map. So you can call the utility and they can tell you where they are in the town.
It's online.
It's super
Yeah, especially Frontier, Frontier is super inaccurate.
I'm sure, yeah,
That's,
So.
that's another story.
yeah, and that cable is easily replaced, it's
It
not a
is.
big deal anyway, so.
Correct. Just an example that wasn't, we did quail bush last year because it was. Installed.
Did it, meaning what?
Like they use 2-inch Schedule 40 PVC for water.
Redid the water.
They kept
But they meet
failing.
our standards.
So, but it was in the consolidated district. That was something that we had to replace last year because it kept failing.
We did?
We did. Yeah, we did it all.
Consolidated.
Consolidated did it. So that would be, so we would look at, like, I would even look at private drives, okay? I'll take Misty Hill Drive, okay? John, we've looked all over for the water main. So much has changed up there.
You couldn't find it?
Just people got water, but we don't know where it is. But again, it's like, these are small pieces, like,
Yeah, right.
say 1,000 feet, okay, we're gonna replace this 1,000 feet of AC, we haven't gotta. Take out a huge chunk, just, we'll start doing these small pieces here and there, and maybe the bigger stuff we use with a grant. Or like in Terry's neck of the woods, I was just talking with a vendor this week, trying to find a clamp that'll go up to the range. Due to the swelling of the ACP pipe, our standard clamps won't fit over it, so we have to do what's called an oversize. They're not necessarily easy to find, and not many people make an OD range of up to 14.80. It's just not anything common, it's like special order pretty much. So when we go to Terry's neck of the woods, we have to have these fittings, so we can fix the water.
So you
That-
can
So I
super
can
tight,
just
super
draw the
tight.
water out of my pad.
We can do this out, buddy.
Yeah.
Don't flush toilets.
Hey, what,
You're getting an awful lot,
why
Terry.
don't
New
you
road, new
turn that
water
into
lines.
a buffer pond, help store some water for. it goes
Water
downstream.
quality.
Water quality.
Reservoir.
Yeah.
My fire insurance should be down.
It should.
And if you put some bass there, you might get a tax credit, because now you're like a bass
You
farmer.
Get a DEC
Well, people are
dock
really
put in
just go
there.
jumping into cold water now, maybe they put a.
There you go.
Put a sign there.
Oh, cool. A little bit, I just want a little bit holler to that this morning, if you have a good chance, if you're up early. The lights look really nice on 332 at 5 in the morning, if you could have it, just, they're getting there, they both be done by end of next week, but.
They're marking everyone.
He's going, he's doing a good job, the contractor. I mean, he's keeping you guys up to date.
Yeah, every day.
There's a lot of good correspondence from him, so.
So it looks nice on the sidewalk and the road.
We should talk about banners for the next year for what you want
We
to
should have a celebration and dedicate every light bulb
Do we
with
sell
with
names,
a
right?
thing of champagne.
Bang.
It'll just end up being
Oh,
Nissan,
yes.
Chevy, Ford, that's all it'll be going
Hey,
to
that's
the
fine,
corridor.
as long as you're paying.
No, but I mean, honestly, though, think about banners for them too, so I mean, veteran banners for Memorial Day and Veterans Day, things for 4th of July, whatever it is, welcome to town's mandate, well.
Board numbers.
Yeah, I know.
Outgoing board members, whatever.
Oh, that's slide that one right in there.
Oh, close for. vote for.
Nah,
Well, you know, you.
Get enough phone
it's
calls
not a
about those
state right away,
anyway
it's a
already.
political sign, you might get away with it.
Don't even
only
think
if it's
about
up
it,
less than
'cause-
60 days and then.
don't
it's
even think
violated.
about it, cause then I get all the phone calls and get yelled at, or.
Well, that's
I-
attention. All
I can't
attention is
control,
good.
I can't control where Claudia's people put their things, I will say something to them.
I think we're sinking here.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
just
Yeah,
so the
they
board
need to be-
knows, I had a conversation with the county on the next roundabout, which they wanna do at my house, which I'm all for.
I'm fine with
They're
that.
gonna do a tap grant, but I'm gonna talk to my neighbors ahead of time.
Yeah.
I heard something just.
And if
sells
we can,
that.
if we can help at all with any of that, but I think
Well-
you're selling it to them.
Yeah, I know, there's only one neighbor, just let you know, he's across the street, he's nice guy, just quiet.
Okay.
But I don't really foresee a no from us is what I don't have,
Perfect.
so,
Do you lose much land or?
doesn't matter. I'm tired of people.
What, you gotta mow?
Yeah.
Maybe,
He's
I
gonna-
mean,
He's gonna be the grumpy guy and he's gonna try to get his house bought.
okay.
On that note, there is a meeting coming up with, Mr. Miller and Bill Wright.
Okay.
To try to figure out a solution
That's good.
for the roundabout, the Cooley and Hickox roundabout. The 32 and Hickox.
Yeah.
How
So,
much does he lose on that?
an acre,
An acre?
Yeah.
How many acres?
and it's not a full farmable acre because of the slope.
Bill's very good at de-escalating and talking to people.
Stop.
Can you allow him to farm?
Are we,
the-
we done? We